I'm going to be showing you how to make my own custom recipes. It's delicious. You're going to need carrots. Baby carrots work just great. That's what I use. You can use regular carrots. You're going to need peppers of the red, green, yellow varieties. Chicken, which I already have pre-cooked. And a variety of spices, secret spices. I'll get to those later. You don't need 6, but you do need these 4. The other 2 are optional. So first you're just gonna wanna start dicing up your carrots. Get these over here. So the pieces don't go flying off. You'll see what I mean. Go wherever you want. Dice up the carrots nice, and now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can chop them up like this, or you can cut them down the middle, like that. You want to hold it each side of the carrot. Let's see if we get a better shot here. Hold down to each side of the carrot. Get a good point of the knife in there. And then just cut them down the middle, and then you can just cut them, once or twice. So basically you're just gonna Alright, there's that. Then, once the carrots are chopped up, this is the important part right here. Add them to the pan. This last piece here. Alright. And for this part, you can either add olive oil. You can just put olive oil in there a little bit on the bottom before you put the carrots in. I should have said that first. What I usually do though is I add a little bit of water. You really don't want to add much, just sprinkle a little bit in there. Just a little bit. Helps them steam cook because you're going to be steam cooking this all. Now we're going to get back to chopping up the peppers. I want to show you how to do that properly real quick. For this, take your pepper, and the best way to do it is to just cut around you can't see it good, you want to cut around the outside here. Just kind of make your little incisions. And pull that out so you get most of them out. Perhaps cut it open right down the middle here. And you're going to want to gut this bad boy. I do that with my hands. You just reach in here, you grab the white fleshy part, that's what you don't want. You just rip that out. And the seeds you don't want to eat are anything that's white, any of the fleshy white part. So you just kind of grab it, whatever comes out, comes out. For the seeds, I just kind of bang them. If you just bang around a little bit like this and clap it, it'll come right out. Most of them will come right out. And you can use water to wash the rest out. Alright. I feel like this is the best time before you cut up the peppers, before you add them to the carrots. You want to just turn the carrots on a very low heat because you're going to be letting these steam cook on the lowest possible heat you have, just a very, very little flame. Make sure you have a little water in there, or oil, or both. So you just want to set this on the lowest. I usually turn it up just a little bit right now to help it catch up to heat. And this is all while we dice up the peppers. Okay. And once you have, I'm kind of messy sometimes. Once you have all of the seeds removed, you're going to want to cut these. I prefer to cut them right where you see the fleshy part here. Cut them right next to it, because then it makes it a lot easier to just kind of fillet. You want to cut away from yourself. I don't always do that. You want to fillet that part right there. Just get rid of the fleshy part if you can. want to slice these into strips. Just like that. Just like butter. It's actually easier than butter. Nice little strips. And then you're going to want to do this with all of the peppers. You're going to go here and just rip that part out, clean out all the seeds, fillet out the white fleshy part, and then slice it up like that. This size, right around this size. And if you don't feel like cutting out the entire center, or if you've already taken out a piece, you can just chop off a piece right up to the center. You want to just get close there. Take out however much you feel is appropriate for the meal. Just cut a piece off there, rip it off, and get rid of the excess seeds however you want to do it, over the sink, over the trash can. This little part down here, it's hard to tell. For the most part, that's okay, but I try to get rid of it anyways. And then from here, get rid of all the seeds. Make sure it's clear, no seeds. No seeds. I just lay the strips down next to each other like so. Get about 2, 3, 4. And just, you want to start just like that. You cut them from this angle though. Remember, you cut them from this angle, not this side. Here, I'll show you a better way. You don't want to cut them this way or that way. You want to cut them from the side here. As you'll see, they cut very, very easily when you have them at the side angle. You put the knife here and you pull down and back. You pull down and back. They just come right off. You can just do that right in there if you want. Do that to all of them. Voila. For this meal, pieces like this are okay, but you want more little smaller pieces. Smaller pieces like this are much better, even smaller. A piece like this is okay, but a piece like this is going to enhance the flavor, to say. All right. Now, hopefully your chicken's cooked, or you pre-cooked it and you let it cool down a little bit. Or you have old chicken in the refrigerator, that's fine, but fresh chicken is better. And then hopefully by now your water is starting to bubble a little bit. You're starting to get a light simmer, and you're starting to get some water coming off, because this is when you add the peppers. Just a second here while I grab these. Make sure there's no seeds, excess flesh. All right, looks good. You just take them over here and you add. Cover the carrots up. You want the carrots on bottom. They're going to become much sweeter when you do it this way. You want the carrots on bottom. You just take this. For the second one, you're going to want this little red bottle. Paprika. In this order, remember, they have to go on in this order. So first we had Italian, now paprika. Paprika, you don't want too light, but you don't want to put too much on. I'd say about as much as the Italian, possibly a little less. But you need the paprika. Now for the two final ones, you have garlic powder, this one, and onion powder. These make the meal right here, but they're nothing without the other two first. And you're going to want to add quite a bit of the garlic powder. Just coat it like it just snowed all over your food, basically. Give it a nice coating of garlic powder. And you do the same for the onion. Maybe even more of the onion. You want about equal amounts, just a whole bunch of each. Alright, I know it looks crazy, but trust me, it's good. Now, once you have all of your seasonings on there, in that order, Italian paprika, then onion and garlic, you want to take your chicken, and I prefer to rip it apart with my hands, get it shredded like. And you don't want the chicken overcooked, just so the pink goes away in the center. You just want the pink gone from the center. And I just kind of rip it up with my hands, and this is one of the most important parts of the whole meal preparation right here. You want to put each piece on there, just layer it. You do this so that the spices, that the water coming up from the carrots carries up its flavor into the peppers, and then that is carried up through the water into the spices, and then that collects in the spices and also goes up into the chicken. And then for the final part, you just want to cover it. If you don't have an actual pan cover, that's fine. I don't either. I just put a nice little plate right over top, one that fits. Perfectly covers it. And then you want to set your timer, I'd say about 20 minutes. And I want to mention that there are two optional seasonings, one of which I'm using, just celery flakes. And I can't put those on now, but you can add celery flakes to the mix if you like. And maybe a little bit of this stuff. Or just a little bit of salt and pepper. The timer went off after 20 minutes. I let it sit for another 5 minutes. Then I just, because I don't have a proper top, if you don't, I just take a towel, pinch it like so, kind of slide the plate off a little bit, grab under it, pull it off, let the excess water drip over it, set the plate aside and witness the meal. Make sure it looks done, it should be. You just want to make sure the peppers slightly lost their color. I put some celery on top. This is going to steam a little bit. And the great thing about this meal is that the carrots are a sort of colitis, Crohn's, celiac friendly. The peppers are too, except for the red peppers. You might want to take it light on those or just leave it out, but I really do not suggest taking out the yellow peppers. They give it a great flavor. The green peppers are great, but the yellow peppers really make the dish too. The red peppers are delicious, so if you can, have a little bit of those at least. None of the powder should bother you either. They've never bothered me, at least. The great thing about this meal is that it's delicious, it's nutritious. It has a lot of minerals in the chicken, low fat, good healthy fats. The carrots are full of vitamin A, beta-carotene. The peppers have a lot of vitamin C in them and antioxidants. There's going to be a little water left over. You do not want to throw that away. This water right here has a lot of the vitamins and minerals in it itself. It makes for like a great type of chicken soup too if you just want to take the water out. Another option for this recipe, because I know there's a lot of potato lovers out there, I'm one myself, you can add potatoes. I prefer the petite, small, they call them petite red potatoes. They have a nice naturally roasted flavor to them. or you can try the small golden ones. Those are the ones I go with. If you want to try a bigger potato, go ahead. I've never done that, but these petite red potatoes are delicious. And then you boil them for about an hour, and most people have a harder time peeling potatoes and whatnot, but you just want to let them properly cool. And once they're done boiling, you want to boil them before you start chopping up the carrots. And then once they're done boiling, you drain the water and you let them sit and cool while you prepare this meal and let the meal cook. It takes about half an hour overall to do this. And that is the perfect amount of time to let the potatoes cool. And once they're cooled, or you can run them under cold water once they're done boiling. But once they're cooled, you should be able to just kind of press down a little bit, and the peels just come right off like this. They just come right off like that. So I just kind of peel them with my hands on cook, and I drop them in the plate. Sometimes it is a little easier if you just kind of get the potato like so, just cut it right down the middle, and then you can peel it like that as well. And for these dark spots, you'll find these sometimes, you just pull those right out too. But they should be plenty soft and come apart inside the dish while you're digging in. I'm throwing this on top of my potatoes, which I let properly cool. Mind you that the potatoes, when you let them properly cool until they get to a room temperature or lower, they lose their carbohydrates, to say. They lose the types of carbohydrates sorry about that. They don't lose their carbohydrates, but it breaks down the starchy, hard to break down starches that a lot of people have trouble with in their intestinal tract that suffer from ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, celiac, and it makes them much easier to digest. This is a wonderful meal if you're trying to gain weight, muscle weight preferably, lose weight, get in any kind of healthy shape whatsoever. This is a wonderful meal for that. It's packed with vitamins and minerals, healthy fats, carbs, all that good stuff. You can add a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder once again at the end of the meal, just a little bit. You don't want to overpower it. So this is the final product once I stirred it around and split up the portions. And if you're wondering about sauce, I'm just going to throw this in here. Personally, I love mustard. I'm sure there are tons of options, but I do some mustard. And shake it. And some ketchup. I want to do about equal parts. Maybe 2/3 mustard, 1/3 ketchup. And if not that, go with some ranch, creamy ranch dressing. I don't know any more sauces. If you have any ideas on some, or if you've tried some other sauces that went great with this dish, let me know, please. Thank you for watching.